Hello and welcome. In this demo, we will showcase an automation tool that converts Alteryx workflows into Azure Data Factory pipelines. On screen, you are seeing a simple Alteryx workflow we have designed for this conversion process. And this is the automation tool that we have created for converting the Alteryx workflow into Azure Data Factory pipelines. The steps are very simple and clear. Just browse the workflow which we are going to convert and browse the output location as per your requirement. And let's change the storage account and the container. And by just clicking the convert button, within seconds the file gets converted. The conversion is complete. Now we'll move to the Azure portal to deploy the template the automation tool generated. We'll search deploy a custom template. We'll choose build your own template, then load the file and select the template that our automation tool generated. This single JSON file defines the entire data factory pipeline, the linked services, the data sets, the data flow, and the data pipeline. Let's select the resource group and factory name. And let's paste the storage account key. So the data factory can connect to our blob storage. Let's click create review and let's create. So the deployment is in progress and in a moment the deployment completes. You can see the deployment is complete. Now let's open Azure Data Factory Studio. Launch Studio. So this is the mapping data flow or tool generated, the Azure's Visual Core free equivalent of the Alteryx canvas. Each of these boxes are transformation. So let's validate the data flow. Azure checks every transformation and expression. To run, we'll turn on the data flow debug session, which starts a Spark cluster to process the data. So there is an error. Now we'll run the pipeline. The pipeline reads the input files from the Azure blob storage, runs the transformation on the cluster, and writes the results back to storage. So now you see the pipeline status is in queued status. So it changes into in progress and then succeeded. So we'll wait for the pipeline status to get to in progress. So it's in progress. So meantime, while the Azure pipeline is running, let's see the Alteryx workflow, the inputs and the outputs and the tools that we have used in the Alteryx workflow. So the inputs we have used are CSV files, Parquet files, and one SQL table, and the output it writes into one CSV file. We have used basic and simple tools like union, cleanse, select, formula, date time, record ID, filter, join, summarize, sort, multi-row formula, running total, append, input text, unique, select, and final writes into the output. So we'll run the Alteryx workflow simultaneously so we can get the output and we can validate. So the Alteryx workflow is done. The pipeline is still in progress. Let's open the Alteryx output. this is the Alteryx output which we just generated running the Alteryx workflow. So there are 110 records including the header. This is the Alteryx output which we are seeing on the screen. Let's wait for the pipeline status to be succeeded. So the total number of records, the total number of columns and the data should exactly match as that of Alteryx output and the Azure Data Factory output. So the pipeline status is it's completed, succeeded. Now let's go to our Azure portal, to the storage account. So this is the output. Let's download it. So this is the Azure pipeline output. It has the same number of records, 110 records including the header. Now let's compare. So before comparing, let's just sort both the X's. So the one on the left is the Alteryx output and the one on the right is the Azure pipeline output. So you can see the data matching, right? So in a single click, the tool performs an automated migration of an Alteryx workflow to Azure Data Factory. Thanks for watching a demo video.